So welcome everybody back to the 2020 National Outdoor Ethics Virtual Conference. My name is Scott Anderson. I am the conference chair, and right now it is my pleasure to introduce Dave O'Leary, who will lead our morning session. Are you new to outdoor ethics? So welcome, Dave O'Leary.
Thanks, Scott. I think I need to have my screen sharing turned on so I can. So this session, as Scott said, is geared or presented as an introduction to the outdoor ethics program in Scouting, and it's a high-level overview of the different things that we are doing and how we can how we use and apply outdoor ethics within Scouting. And there we go. Okay. So again, welcome to everyone, and thanks for joining us this morning. I'm going to speak about our outdoor ethics program in Scouting and how we apply these skills and practices in the organization. For those of you who are new to these conversations, I certainly welcome you. We have a pretty large community of folks involved with presenting and sharing the outdoor ethics message within Scouting. Over the last 20 years or so, since we've really developed this program, we've trained more than 1,000 Leave No Trace Master Educators, about 10,000 Leave No Trace trainers, and of course, there are many people who are involved in outdoor ethics in the Scouting program in some way. I'd especially like to call attention to the unit leaders, Cub Masters, Den Leaders, Scout Masters, who are really out there on the front line of helping our young people understand these important principles. We know this past year was a pretty challenging year, and we've tried to provide some additional resources to help you be successful in that endeavor. Again, we know that this year has been pretty challenging figuring out how to do things virtually, and we've certainly learned a lot putting this conference together. But hopefully some of the things we have learned will be valuable as we move forward. So I'm going to start out talking about the BSA Mission Statement. So outdoor ethics is not an entity standalone from the rest of the organization. It's really our job to help fulfill the mission of the Boy Scouts of America. And through your Scout training, you probably have seen this mission statement sometime, preparing young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetimes based on values. Of course, each of our BSA programs also uses the outdoors as a method. And so we see outdoor ethics as a place where the young people and our volunteers, our adult volunteers and others involved in the organization, parents, have a chance to apply this idea of ethical decision making and making ethical choices in practice, not just in theory or in discussion. We learned about respect. We learned about decision making and the trade-offs that are involved, and those are important life skills. So again, the outdoor ethics program is really a key element where this mission statement of the BSA is realized within the organization. So there are 4 elements of BSA outdoor ethics. I'm going to talk about them, and we'll go through each of them in one by one in the next slides. But I'd like you to take a look at this poll, and I expect that some of you are newcomers to outdoor ethics. Some may not be newcomers, but just give a quick response to this poll. If you've completed one or more of these courses, and if you've completed more than one, you should be able to check all of the boxes that are relevant. So take a minute and do that, and we'll talk about the 4 elements of BSA outdoor ethics. Again, hopefully this is, at least some of these elements are familiar to each of you. We talk about the land ethic and how we use each of these other components, the outdoor code, leave no trace, and tread lightly, to help grow the land ethic within our members. So what is the land ethic is a question that we get quite frequently. This term, or the phrase land ethic, came from a guy named Aldo Leopold. Was active in the early 1900s in the Forest Service, and then in academics at the University of Wisconsin. And basically, there are many different perspectives, or several different perspectives we can take on the land ethic. But the idea is to grow or to help people think about and consider this broader concept of community in our decision making, not just your family or the people who live near you and human beings, but the broader land. So I see the poll results have popped up here, and have a bunch of people who have taken various outdoor ethics courses, which is great. A little less on tread lightly, but I see about half of the folks have taken the Leave No Trace Master Educator course. So you're already quite familiar with some of these materials I'm talking about, and similarly, pretty much everybody has completed some. But welcome to those who have not taken any of our courses. There are lots of ways to be exposed to the outdoor ethics message within Scouting, and we appreciate your participating in this conference. We'll talk about each of, and some of those other ways to learn more throughout this presentation, and then in the question and answer session following. So again, the land ethic is really where we're kind of striving to help our members and others connect with the broader community that Aldo Leopold referred to as the land. The outdoor code is a series of statements, really aspirational statements, that have guided Scouts for many decades since the 1950s toward responsible behavior in the outdoors. So we talk about being each of these things: being clean, being careful, being considerate, and being conservation minded. Things that we strive to do within Scouting. Leave No Trace is a newer component, but the BSA has been involved with Leave No Trace since their formation just a little over 25 years ago now. Last night I mentioned that we did a survey of BSA members in the summer of 2019. We were pretty pleased to see that less than 1% said they did not recognize Leave No Trace. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this specifically, but I wanted to bring this up in that Leave No Trace is really our key partner and our key series of principles that we follow to provide specific guidance to our members as they are participating in outdoor recreation. The 7 principles are based on science. We'll hear more about that this afternoon from Jeff Marion. And I like to think of them as holistic. They're a system. The 7 principles work together as a system. So an important component of outdoor ethics in BSA. And we see that in Cub Scouting, in Scouts BSA, and in venturing. Tread Lightly is another nonprofit organization that we work with. They have a kind of very specific targeted role within outdoor ethics, and specifically with regard to motorized activities. So in particular, there are a couple of those authorized activities within BSA, use of ATVs in our summer camps, personal watercraft in a few places, motorboating is another, and Tread Lightly provides a variety of different, again, guidance on how to responsibly use and participate in motorized outdoor recreation. So those are the four components and the four elements of the outdoor ethics program within scouting. So we have assembled over the years considerable resources on how to practice outdoor ethics within scouting. And the biggest repository of those resources is on the website listed here, outdoorethics-bsa.org. You probably looked at that sometime when you heard about this conference, or somehow you may have crossed paths with that. So, but if you have not, I certainly encourage you to spend some time, take a look, and visit that site, look at the resources there. That site is really oriented toward those who are already involved with outdoor ethics in BSA. There are a bunch of training resources for the people who are offering the different presentations and materials, the PowerPoint, sample course schedules, etc. A lot of training resources there. Other materials that are useful for unit leaders who are working with the young people in their unit. So a lot of material available on that site. In addition, there's also a contact list, and you can find the people who serve your council and who can be resources for you. I'll talk about that in more depth on another slide. But this site is where that contact list is available. You can look up for your council, or who has already received training, who your council outdoor ethics advocate is, etc. Another key piece of this site is the course calendar, where we post information about upcoming Leave No Trace trainer courses, Leave No Trace Master Educator courses, and other events. Of course, there are BSA national events, and we post information about those events also. And at many of those events, like the National Order of the Arrow Conference, National BSA Jamboree, there are opportunities for folks to serve on staff and talk to people about Leave No Trace, talk to people about the outdoor ethics program. So again, that site is an important resource for this community, and we all depend heavily on it, and certainly appreciate all of the work that Mark Hammer invests in maintaining that site. So also on the BSA national website, scouting.org, in the outdoor program section, there's also a significant amount of material about the outdoor ethics programs, the Outdoor Ethics Awards, the Outdoor Ethics Guide program. So there's another great resource. I know sometimes it's a little difficult to find things on scouting.org. It's a huge site with a lot going on. But if you just type Leave No Trace in the search window or outdoor ethics in the search window, the pages will pop up, or you can navigate to the outdoor program section, where there's lots of other interesting stuff too, some of which we heard about last night from Frank. So in addition to those two websites, there are some Facebook groups that we use, and people can share information about what they're thinking about, resources they've found. And so a couple of Facebook groups I'll call attention to. There's a BSA Outdoor Ethics group, and surprisingly enough, there are actually two BSA Outdoor Ethics groups, one of which has been inactive for a few years. So if you just search for BSA Outdoor Ethics and on Facebook, you'll find both. There's some interesting historic information from several years ago in one of them, but if you see that there have been no posts since 2015, then that's a clue that you want to join the other group. We're working on refreshing that a little bit, so watch for updates on that front. But again, it's a good way to get updates and information about what's happening if you're a Facebook user. In addition to the BSA Outdoor Ethics groups, there are also groups which are not BSA specific, but are available for people who are Leave No Trace trainers and Leave No Trace master educators. Those two Facebook groups are not as active, but there are some interesting posts there. And it's a way to keep refreshed on what's going on. And then the Leave No Trace Center for Outdoor Ethics also has a Facebook page where they post information. In addition to these resources, there's speaking of the Leave No Trace Center for Outdoor Ethics, their site, www.lnt.org, has a considerable amount of great resources there. One of the strategic initiatives of the Leave No Trace Center for the last few years has been Leave No Trace for Every Kid. And we've worked closely with them on that initiative over these last few years, and especially in 2020 during the pandemic, they've spent quite a bit of time investing in adding additional resources on their site, including a lot of youth education resources. So I encourage you to check that out. Similarly with Tread Lightly, there are youth programs there and youth targeted information. There are other partners that we work with that aren't specifically outdoor ethics, but kind of relate to what we're doing. I mentioned the Aldo Leopold Center or the Aldo Leopold Foundation earlier. They're not a BSA partner, but there's some great information available there. And then there are others like Project Learning Tree that we heard about last night in one of the promotional videos. And so BSA does have a partnership there, and they've worked to put together materials to help link their programs to the appropriate Cub Scout Adventures and Scouts BSA materials. So bottom line is there is a lot out there. The Appalachian Mountain Club, Appalachian Trail Conference. There are many other organizations that also post the National Park Service and other government sites. Leave No Trace has a broad reach, so many of these groups also have posted information about Leave No Trace and how to practice it in their specific situation. So I encourage you to explore and again, in the Facebook group and things like that, we post resources. So let's talk a minute about contacts and people that can be available to assist you in your journey through scouting and learning about outdoor ethics. A key is the Council Outdoor Ethics Advocate. So there are about 250 councils across the United States, and in about 160 or 170 councils, we have a designated person who's the Council Outdoor Ethics Advocate. And as you might tell from that title, their responsibility is to advocate for and coordinate outdoor ethics programming in the council. Now, they're not going to go to every single unit and speak to them about Leave No Trace or Tread Lightly or outdoor ethics, but they can be a good resource. And they may come to visit you personally, they may be able to answer questions, or they can help you find someone who is in your council who may be able to support your unit, or could be a resource for one of the training courses you're offering, or could come visit the summer camp, or whatever it is your need. So make sure you reach out to your council outdoor ethics advocate. Now, some councils do not have a council outdoor ethics advocate, unfortunately. And in that case, you could reach out to your area advocate or your regional outdoor ethics coordinator. Also, in each of those individuals, they're listed on the Outdoor Ethics BSA website, as I mentioned earlier. On the page near the top, there's a link, a little button says contacts, pretty straightforward. You click there, and the members of the National Outdoor Ethics Committee are listed with our contact information and each of our roles, so you can contact the appropriate person. And then near the top of the page, there's a link for searching by council. So you can click there and scroll down. The councils are listed alphabetically. You can find your council and click and find out who your council outdoor ethics advocate is, and also whether there are any Leave No Trace master educators in your council, along with their contact information. And so again, that's a key resource for you in identifying folks who may be able to help. Also, in many councils, there's a council training chair or a district training chair who can be a resource. We'll talk about in a minute how outdoor ethics is integrated into the various courses. And so those training chairs, they may not be listed on our outdoor ethics site, but they still probably have some contact with people who are familiar with Leave No Trace, familiar with the outdoor ethics considerations. And we're happy to connect with people who are interested in outdoor ethics and bring more people into this community who are interested in sharing that information. And then another resource is your council program chair, your council program director, your council camping director. You may have camp staff members who have been trained in Leave No Trace or trained in outdoor ethics, and they're all good contacts and resources also. And really a key role within the Outdoor Ethics Committee is to identify the people who are interested in learning more and who are interested in helping to spread information about outdoor ethics and how to practice Leave No Trace effectively. So again, we welcome any outreach by email or connect to us on the website. The email addresses are listed there. So I'll talk a minute about the outdoor ethics training. We saw the poll earlier. I was pleased to see that many of you have completed one or more of these courses. So I'm going to do just a quick run through of what each of them are. The outdoor ethics orientation is a session that's targeted to last about 60 to 90 minutes. So perhaps could be spread out over a couple of troop meetings, or could be part of a weekend camp out or something like that. Or maybe in conjunction with a roundtable. This is orientation gives a broad overview of outdoor ethics within BSA. And while this session is only lasting 30 minutes, it's kind of a flavor of what a BSA outdoor ethics orientation covers. In that session, you do go on a little bit more detail about what Leave No Trace is, for example. And maybe do a couple of hands-on activities that are not as simple to do in a 30-minute virtual session. The Leave No Trace 101 course is a 3 to 4 hour course focused on the 7 principles of Leave No Trace. We have a quick overview of what ethics means, and then participate or review each of the 7 principles and participate in a couple of activities relating to Leave No Trace to help the course participants and the workshop participants really understand what ethical decision making is about and how to practice Leave No Trace. So some skills built in. The Leave No Trace trainer course is what we have traditionally done in a weekend format. It's 16 hours of instruction, and it's oriented to help people, as you can see by the title of the course, to become trainers of Leave No Trace, to teach and instruct people in the Leave No Trace principles and skills. So someone who's a Leave No Trace trainer would be a great person to present the Leave No Trace 101 course. And again, that course has traditionally been offered in a 16-hour weekend format. We've certainly made adjustments for this year, and so several courses have been offered over the past several months in a completely virtual format. One element, a key element of that course, is each course participant presents one of the Leave No Trace principles or on another Leave No Trace topic. The Leave No Trace Master Educator course is even more extensive. And in that course, we go into more depth on the Leave No Trace principles and how to practice them, but really focusing on how to teach them to others in even more depth than a Leave No Trace trainer course. That course, again, is run in a format that's typically 5.5 days. It may be spread over 2 weekends, or it may be 5 or 6 consecutive days. That course includes a field experience, which is 3 nights of camping, canoeing, hiking, backpacking, and it provides an opportunity to practice Leave No Trace in the field. And again, each course participant has an opportunity or is required to present one of the Leave No Trace principles or another Leave No Trace topic to the rest of the group. So you get actual practice in teaching Leave No Trace to other people. So the Leave No Trace Trainer, Leave No Trace 101, and Outdoor Ethics Orientation courses are offered within local councils. Those are offered across the country, and now the Leave No Trace Trainer courses being offered virtually have permitted or allowed for people to participate from across the country in a course, even if they aren't physically together. The Leave No Trace Master Educator courses, we offer about 12 of those a year, some at the National High Adventure bases, and some are hosted by local councils. And we try to move those around to different parts of the country each year, and we offer different formats. Some are involve more physically strenuous activity. Some are backpacking or wilderness canoeing at Northern Tier, for example. Some are what we call a front country course or primitive static camping, where it doesn't involve as much hiking and things like that. But there still is a 3-day field experience where you're camping out in a tent away from the kind of core of your summer camp. I'll also mention the Tread Lightly courses. They also offer a trainer course and a master course. Those are primarily offered by Tread Lightly. We do have many folks within BSA who are trained as Tread Masters and who can offer Tread Trainer courses, but we haven't had as much interest in those, and we don't offer too many. But if that's something you're interested in, reach out and we'll see how we can help. And the Tread Lightly organization offers the Tread Master courses. They are the only ones who present those. And there are a few a year. You can check their website for more information. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Leave No Trace and Outdoor Ethics instruction is incorporated into several other BSA courses, ranging from any of the courses that involve outdoor activities. So Baloo, Introduction to Outdoor Leadership Skills, Powderhorn, Wood Badge, and others all incorporate outdoor ethics. And so many Scout leaders get exposed to these ideas through one of those courses. And then we also have many other resources within the Scout program where people can learn about outdoor ethics, the Merit Badge program, the various handbooks, the Cub handbooks, the Scouts BSA handbook, and the field book, for example. So with that, I'm going to wrap things up with this presentation. I appreciate everybody joining us for this half hour. I hope this was informative, and we hope that those of you who are already involved will stay involved with continuing to share outdoor ethics within your districts and councils and units. And then those who are new, again, we welcome you, and we hope that you will find ways to get involved. Next, we're going to transition to a session, a Q&A session, where we're happy to take questions.
Dave, before we skip over
Yep.
there were a couple of online questions that I wanted to send to you because they directly related to the presentation. Mm-hmm. Is there an official training, or at least a list of trainings, that one should have completed to be a council outdoor ethics advocate?
So that's a great question. There's no training that is required to serve in that capacity. However, over the last few years, we've developed a workshop that is specifically oriented toward people who are serving in that role or who are interested in serving in that role. And so in prior years, and until just the last couple of years, that course was offered at the Philmont Training Center. It was the 5-day full Philmont Training Center conference. Scott and I actually also presented one of these 5-day workshops down at the summit a couple of years ago. But we found that that was kind of a higher barrier for people and difficult for people to travel to and take away a full 5 days. We may continue to offer that on a limited basis, but we've evolved that into a shorter weekend format or 1-day format that's, again, oriented particularly for council outdoor ethics advocates and those who are interested. And so please reach out to your regional outdoor ethics coordinator if you're interested. That's the level or the person who will be planning and conducting those workshops.
And then I have one more quick one. Outdoor ethics orientation course and other trainings, are they for scouts and adults or just scouts?
Sure. Yeah, another great question. So something I probably should have covered. So the outdoor ethics orientation is available to anyone in scouting, youth members, and adults. We like to kind of, as with any presentation, it's great to know who your audience is ahead of time, so the presenter knows whether they're working with 7- and 8-year-olds or they're with a bunch of adults. So, but and then similarly, Leave No Trace 101 available to youth and adults, and we encourage all Cub Scout packs, Boy Scout troops, Scouts BSA troops, venturing crews to use that Leave No Trace 101 course. A Leave No Trace trainer course is available to adults and youth who are basically older scouts and venturing age or older. The Leave No Trace Master Educator course is only available to adults.